Good morning and welcome back to Wando Tales.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Today we're in Caral, Peru, and we're going to do a very special activity today. We're going to tour the oldest known city of the Americas. So let's go ahead and take a look. Why are you so stoic?
Alright guys, we're here. The oldest city in America. And they only do Spanish tours, so I'm gonna not know anything.
No, you're going to be so great at it.
I'm
I
gonna
believe in
be
you.
very confused the whole time, but still very interested.
I'll translate. We're also in a group with a bunch of high schoolers, I think.
Yeah. See them all.
Where are they all? They're like, there's at least 70 of them because they're making 3 groups of 25.
So maybe we'll make friends with them and they'll subscribe to the channel.
Hi guys, thanks for coming.
But anyways, it looks beautiful. We're like in the middle of nowhere, which is exactly what you would expect for an archaeological site, especially the oldest in America.
Yeah.
So in the Americas, let me get that correct. So we're very excited. They had Coca-Cola.
Henry literally insisted that he needed this because he needs caffeine.
Yeah.
He said he was not in a good mood.
Terrible mood. So that's why the intro is kind of rough. But I'm doing better now.
It's 11 souls per person to enter, and then a soul per person to the tour guide. So 24 souls altogether.
Pretty affordable.
Yeah, truly.
Behind us here is a higher altar, a fire altar, where they would sacrifice fruits, animals, textiles, not humans. Let's go.
Alright guys, we had to switch groups because our other group was maybe a little bit too young and they just kept talking over the tour guide. So now we're with an older group and they're just so much more quiet and they're like really paying attention to the tour guide, which makes it great because the tour guide's like giving back, like actually drawing things and everything, so it's great. And he's talking much slower, which is good because, as you know, the tour is in Spanish. So over here, this is actually the pyramid and this is where ceremonies would happen. And then on this side next to the pyramid is where the upper class would live. And then as well, this is another fire altar, and this fire altar is special because it's a rectangular shape, and if you can see, there's like a vent at the bottom, and this venting like mechanical system, I'm not really sure what it's called because it was in Spanish, but this like heating system to let the air out with the pressure while you're doing a fire altar and all that was discovered, I think he said in like the year 1000, but they had been using it about 3,000 years before that, so that's pretty awesome. Alright, let's go see what's next. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the pyramid behind me. The guide was saying how over the years the different civilizations have learned to build upon the knowledge of the previous civilization, and so in this one you can see that the stairs are inverted, kind of like a trapezoid, but the Incans actually changed it and made it more of this triangular shape, and apparently that helped with the stairs and the structures for their pyramids. So really interesting how everybody learns from each other. We're all in this together. Da, da, da. Okay, so I'm going to try to explain this to you, how you can tell the time with the sun. So wherever the sun rises, you stand in front of it, and then right now it's midday, so you're not going to see my shadow, but if it were 9 in the morning and you were to take 3 steps, that would be 9 in the morning, 2 steps is 10, 1 step is 11, and then reverse in the afternoon. Really interesting, huh?
Right. The structure behind me, all of the angles are 90 degrees, which leads archaeologists to believe that they did in fact have knowledge of, what is the word that I'm looking for? Geometry. So just because all of the corners are almost perfectly 90 degrees, and also it looks like they've done renovations to the stairs, which also leads them to believe that whenever they would learn something new, that they would implement that into their structures. And the last thing is they have found remnants of paint on the outside of the structures, yellow paint. So they believe that they would paint all of these structures as well. So behind me is the valley where they grew all their crops. Right beside me here is the most important pyramid, which they still haven't determined why, but they're working on that. Off to the left is future excavations. So currently, as we speak, they're working on 25 new sites. So they're always excavating, always learning new things. I mean, this is pretty expansive, the amount of pyramids and structures that they've already uncovered. So very interesting. Behind me, there's actually ruins that they thought were part of the Caral civilization, but later when they did carbon dating, they discovered it was actually later.
Mm-hmm. The Chanka, I think you said.
The Chanka civilization.
So, I know, right? Hair check. We just learned about the most important pyramid. They believe it was the most important because it's the biggest pyramid here, and there's a circular plaza out front where they believe the elders or the important people of the community would meet to discuss the issues at hand, kind of like Congress. And they believe that the president, the ruler, the king would live in that pyramid as well.
Like the White House.
Just like the White House. This is the order right here. Pop quiz, what's the order? Hello. Whew. Sebastian is a dirty, dirty mess. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is for you, but nice and cold, huh? So,
What?
what'd you think of it?
That was cool.
It was much cooler than whenever you're ready, Wanda. It was much cooler than I expected for myself. I'm not usually into history or things of this nature, ruins or anything like that. And this was just like really intriguing to me. I think it was just like the vibe was like a tour guide and a group and like the kids like paying attention, and our tour guide was really good. Just like, and and the fact that it's the oldest of this hemisphere, the oldest of the Americas, and it's the second oldest of the world. Like, it's just so many awesome things. It just makes you think like, wow, humans have come a long, long way, and I'm so darn proud of us.
True story.
Yeah.
I'm proud of me too.
I'm proud of me, man. Pat on the back.
Don't you hate no-show socks, how they fall sometimes?
Do they? Tell us about no-show socks, babe.
God, I hate how they fall down into your shoes sometimes. And then you're just walking around with like half a sock on, feeling like a fool, and nobody else knows.
So then how can you feel like a fool if nobody knows?
Because you feel weird, and nobody else knows why you're acting weird. And it's because your no-show sock has fallen into your shoe.
So
it's like a wedgie for your foot.
So do those socks just not have a good like rubber thing on the back?
No no-show socks do.
What? I thought you had some good ones before.
These are good ones, but they still sometimes fall.
It's so funny. Henry, when I saw that he had specific... Excuse me, sir. You're like blocking my way.
Sorry.
There were two things that made me think, wow, Henry is just a stand-up guy. The first one was, he came to visit me the first time in December, and it was so cold, and so my nose was like running, and he gave me a handkerchief, and he always keeps a hanky in his pocket, and so he actually gave me one.
That was gross, huh?
Yeah. And so he actually gave me one of the handkerchiefs that he had, because, you know, he just packs handkerchiefs. And when I took it out one day when I was with my family, my mom was like, who gave you a handkerchief? And she was like, wow, this new guy, very intriguing. And then the second thing is when I saw that Henry had specific no-show socks for his sneakers or low-rise shoes, I was like, wow, this guy is just into the details.
You have to be.
Yeah.
can't skimp on the details.
You can't.
Or then you're overall, I mean, why be uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah.
Most people would say, then why not wear normal socks? But you can't wear normal socks with shoes like this.
Yeah, it's fashion, right?
Fashion.
Fashion.
And not fast fashion either.
Yeah. Alright guys, we're gonna end today's video right here, but we will see you tomorrow.
We're gonna end in the oldest city in the Americas.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Like, we are
can't.
literally, I feel like we're in Egypt right now.
We're older than Egypt right now. By how many?
Yeah, by like
300 years, right?
300 years, yeah.
That's so crazy. Then Henry and I had this interesting question. What is the newest city in the world? If you guys know, leave it in the comment section down below. And also tell us one fact about you that makes you a stand-up guy or stand-up girl. Hey, what about me? Do I have a stand-up fact?
Yeah, of course.
Love me.
Of course you have a stand-up fact.
What's mine?
Your stand-up fact is that you're constantly, I had to think about it like for the best one, but you're constantly dropping new knowledge on me.
Ooh,
like you're
fun fact!
always learning new things, and like, if it wasn't for you, I feel like I would be in the dark on a lot of stuff. But you're always, like, throughout the day, she will tell me new things that she has just learned, and it's really nice. It's refreshing to be around somebody that is constantly bettering themselves by learning new stuff.
I just want to be better for you, that's all. I love you too. Alright guys, we'll see you tomorrow in our next day in Peru. Bye!
Bye guys.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time in another Wando tale.
Wando out. So these are their trash baskets, and I love them. They have the burlap inside, really strong, muy fuerte.
This is the type of stuff that Henry enjoys.
Maybe I should be an interior designer.
Maybe. Henry has just said, right before we got here, that maybe he should be an archaeologist. As if we don't need another career to add onto the list. The ever-growing list.
I think the real estate thing is the one.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I love it for you. I love that for us.
And way back here, that's where the Poors lived.
Did you live there?
No. So, very interesting. The first ever civilization was 5,200 years ago, which is 200 years before Caral. And it was in the Middle East, Mesopotamia. And then you have Caral, which was 5,000 years ago, which is where we are right now. It's the oldest civilization in the Americas. And by that I mean all of Central, South, North, all of it.
This hemisphere?
This entire hemisphere.
Not hemisphere.
Yeah, it's the oldest one in this entire hemisphere.
Oh, the Western hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So third would be 4,700 years ago, which this predates that by 300 years, obviously, and that was in Egypt. And then after that, 100 years is India.
Okay.
And then 4,200 years ago, you have China, which I thought for sure would have been older than most of these. And then 4,000 years ago, we've got Cretense, so Crete. And then the youngest, 3,200 years ago, was actually in Mesoamerica, so old Mecca.
Woo!
And that's it. That's the history of the world right there.